Okay. We're doing take two. We're doing a little take two. Take twosie. We're running into some tech difficulties.
Oh,
which
I'm
is
sorry,
all good.
guys.
It's totally all good, Blake. It's all good. So come on in. We had started a whole conversation earlier in our previous video, but we would love for you to come on in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And we're going to be discussing tonight Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Yes, Allison's here one more time. It's time to celebrate, right?
Sorry, guys.
It's all good, Blake. So take a moment to hit that share button or retweet if you're on Twitter. And if you already hit that share button or retweeted, you may want to delete the previous one since that stream ended. Totally apologize. This is what happens.
This is life, man. This is what happens.
This is what happens. So hit that little share button, hashtag the Potterverse, to let all of your Potterhead friends know that this is the place to be. We're going to be reading along to the chapters of the Sorcerer's Stone. We're going to be reading, of course, going on to the future books and talking about the movies and all things having to do with Harry Potter. But we're pretty dang excited about this to kick things off. So, as I said in the previous video which shall not be named because the technical difficulties were wrong.
I hit a button by accident. I don't know what button it was, but I hit one.
It's all good, Blake. We're all here. We're all here. So make sure, as I said, hit that share button. And we are going to be ripper and a go. This is more of a fly on the wall experience. So the more that you have chatter inside your chatter group, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, this is why we're here live in videos, is because we want you guys to be having a conversation as well. Whether you agree with us, disagree with us, whether you make a new friend from across the world who also loved the same quote that you did. Ask questions amongst each other. This is why, as we said, we're going here live in videos just to create a community, especially in times like now where we feel so socially distanced from other people, physically distant from other people. This is the time when we need to come together. And Harry Potter brings me and Blake a great deal of joy, and that's why we've decided to do the Potterverse at this time.
That's why we're here. We're going to have some fun with it. Okay, so now we can actually do some room tone, and let's have some fun with it. Mary,
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am ready to be awkwardly silent for 10 seconds.
Oh man, now everything.
What?
I'm just annoyed.
Okay.
I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed beyond all belief.
It's all good, man.
And I'm trying to make my life better, and this just sucks.
Is something still wrong?
No, something. Well, yes, technically, but I'm going to fix it.
Okay.
And just
I'm here.
bear with me for one moment. If you could just please vamp for just another.
What book do you
2
guys
minutes.
like to read? Do you like to read out of a certain publication? Do you get to read a British version, or are you in a different language? Do you like the illustrated version? Are you more of an audiobook? And if so, who is the voice that you get to hear in your audiobooks? Let me know. I'm going right now this go around with just the traditional Scholastic hardcover version. I don't usually keep my paper coverings. Is anyone else like this? A, I think it's just so pretty without it. But B, my paper coverings just don't stay. All of this. Thank you for filling Droughtlander with another great podcast. Thank you.
There we go.
Lydie says that you need a vodka tonic. Denise is listening via audiobook, as is Victoria, and Kate listening to Jim Dale. Amazing. Hey, Meg on IG. How you doing, girl? And Denise is joining us on IG. We've got Lumos, our cat, joining us in real life. Alice is British.
The real star.
The British version. Ellen says they have the British version in Australia. It was called The Philosopher's Stone.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm supposed to be drinking a White Claw, but we have a Mike's Hard Lemonade because Mary got it for me.
They're giant.
And they're amazing.
Well, this is a Truly that's giant.
Yes.
And that Mike's is giant. So, cheers.
Denise says I need to wave a wand and make a White Claw Patronus.
Agreed. Or use the app Drizzly.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Okay, we're ready to go.
All right.
Expecto Patronum.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. Let's
Yes.
Let's get some room tone.
This episode of the Potterverse is brought to you by MinuteWithMary.com. Listen, I love talking about lashes. I know it's something small and trivial, but when I put on a Dynamite mascara, I feel like Betty Boop. I feel like boop, boop, ba-doo, boo. And I'm just going to fill up my gas tank in my Harry Potter robe pajamas. True story. But I still like to look slamming with my lashes. I just feel like it pulls me together. It helps me feel polished, even if I'm in Potter t-shirts or clothes. And because of that, I went on this mission to find the best mascara ever. And I found it. I found it, and I fell in love with it even so much that I decided to become part of the company and now sell it. You can find it at minutewithmary.com. But since you're a podcast listener of ours, I thought I'd make it extra sweet and get you 15% off my favorite mascara. It's this 4D mascara, and it gives you the look of false eyelashes without dealing with all that tacky glue and all that craziness going on. If you know how to put on mascara, you can put on the best mascara of your life. Head on over to minutewithmary.com/discount. From Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to the Potterverse. It's a podcast dedicated to the book and film universe of Harry Potter. So grab your favorite wands and time turners. Let's step into the night and pursue that flighty temptress adventure. Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name's Blake, and I thought my wife would be proud because I shortened up the intro, and it was flawless. You're welcome for that.
You're welcome.
You know, the funny thing is that Mary has listened to the John Williams score so many times and knows that that score, that song, by heart so well that she heard one slight difference. She's like, "Oh, you shortened it? You did, didn't you?" And like it's like one of those silent communication things that we have. If you're watching us live,
I know.
you can hear it and you can see it. But if you're listening on the podcast app, oh yeah, that was a silent communication to beat the best of them right there.
I got you, boo.
Marvin, what do you think about the podcast so far? And by the way, the podcast is available on all the podcast apps that you could ever think of now, finally.
all of them.
It's all there. I think, although we're still waiting on iHeartRadio. But other than that,
Ryan Seacrest is holding out.
Other than that, we are ready to go. We're here. We're having some fun.
Awesome.
And we're having fun with it. So what do you think about the podcast so far? Things that need to get improved, things that need to be.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you. What do you think? Are you happy with the podcast so
I'm
far?
happy.
Okay, good. That's what I'm wondering.
I'm terrible at critiquing ourselves. Terrible at it.
You're not like me. You don't listen to our podcast religiously every single time.
Nope.
No, apparently not.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, I do want to first let everybody know that I just today, the day that we're recording, created our complimentary texting service where I can send you a text to let you know, yes, we're going live. So you can join us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to join in the conversations and to have a lot of fun with it. All you need to do is take out your phone and send a text to the phone number 81010. And then in the message field, put @Elder Wand.
Oh, hey. Oh,
the one
yeah.
wand to rule them all. Yay! Elder Wand. Just as one word. So once again, the number is 81010. And in the message, @Elder Wand, ELDERWAND, no spaces. And you will be added to our complimentary texting service.
Go to maryandblake.com. Check out all the cool things that we got there. And check out Mary and Blake, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All the good places there. Thank you for all the reviews. And if you find that this show gives you the kind of value and gives you a different perspective on Harry Potter or just Mary and I in general, please do give us a review and make it a written one so we can get it on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcatcher of choice is. Just send it over to us, and that way we get to read it, make our day, and have some fun with it. Marvin, are you ready to get into this show?
Yes, ready to rumble.
Let's do it.
The title that we of the chapter we're talking about today is Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass. And I wanted to read you the following quote because it just gave me all the little goosies. When he had been younger, Harry had dreamed and dreamed of some unknown relation coming to take him away, but it had never happened. The Dursleys were his only family, yet sometimes he thought, or maybe hoped, that strangers in the street seemed to know him.
That a girl. And to picking another fantastic entry, another fantastic passage. I like this little tradition that we've started here.
You know, I like to think that strangers in the street know me because all of a sudden
It's
I'm
happened
getting a lot.
sometimes.
Oh, actually, I don't like, not like, yeah, you're right. People do know me in Rhode Island a lot. Oops. But I mean, what I'm saying is that people like my mask. Like, I think that they know me because they're like eye twinkle smiling. I can't really tell if they're smiling because their smile's behind their mask, but they're like looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, are you my friend? And really, I realize it's because I'm wearing this like really exciting Harry Potter mask.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Obviously.
I'm this grown woman rocking my HP pride when I think they're trying to be my friend. They may be. Maybe I should get the Potterverse mask.
We are working on some Mary and Blake media masks. I will tell you that. We are trying to work
And then
it
when
out.
they're looking at me, saying in their minds, I'm a Potter fan too, but I can't talk to this girl because I got to keep a 6-foot distance, that they can go find the Potterverse.
So let's chat about chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass. Marvin, what do you want to begin on? The Vanishing Glass.
Okay, well, can we give like a quick little recap about what happens in this episode?
Go right ahead.
It's Dudley's birthday. He's a spoiled little brat that go to the zoo, and Harry gets a little miffed because Dudley and his friend aren't acting that nice. And then I don't know why, but Harry magically somehow kind of makes the glass disappear, and the snake gets out, and Harry gets in trouble.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
It is. I love the end when Mr. Dursley's like, when Vernon's like, you closet. Don't come out. No meals.
How terrible.
He's just so angry he couldn't even form a sentence.
What 80s parenting, by the way? Can you imagine what would happen if you'd like punished your kid by not giving them a meal?
He said, you cannot eat. Can you imagine
All
that?
right, there is 80s parenting.
Oh, man. 80s parenting is the best. It's the best.
No tang. No tang
no
for a week.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah. So just, this is the first time that we get to see Harry use magic, and he doesn't even know he did it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of alludes to the fact that Harry has done magic prior to all this without knowing it. But this is the first time that we are privy as the reader to his magical ability. And I think there's also something implicit in his dreams that he has magical ability because he's remembering back to a time where he sees green light and a flash and the whole thing. And there is absolutely zero chance on any planet, I don't even care if it's planet Zippy, that you can remember as a 3-month-old anything.
He wasn't 3. He was 1 year.
Well, whatever. Can you remember anything? Can you remember anything from being 1 year old?
I don't know.
No, absolutely not. No.
I mean, no.
I think your earliest memory is probably going to come from when you're 3.
Listen, if my parents were killed in front of my eyes by he who must not be named, I might remember that. I might. People remember like smells and things. I don't know.
Yeah, not from when you're a year old.
I feel like you would have that as a repetitive nightmare, just ingrained in your brain thanks to a scar. I bet you the scar let him know. I bet you the scar gave him super duper memory.
Well, but the scar is in itself inherently magical.
Mm-hmm.
So, it also alludes to the fact that I think that because Harry is having these dreams and he does have this vague memory of this green flash,
And the
that is
motorcycle,
magical.
the motorbike.
And the motorbike too, yeah. Like there's no chance when you are a 1 year old, you're going to remember a motorbike. It is not going to happen.
Unless you're Harry Potter.
Because you have magic.
But, they go into talking about how these different things have happened to him over time that he can't explain. And it was just fun little references, like the fact that Uncle Vernon always says that Harry needs a haircut because Harry honestly does always need a haircut. His hair just keeps growing. He'll have it cut and then right away it just grows right back. Or how he was being, picked on and he was suddenly on the top of a building. Like just all these little random things that happen to him that he can't explain. He doesn't even know he's doing it, but it just happens to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things that happen in this chapter. A lot of things that just kind of, again, allude to a much larger world. But one of the things that I really love about this chapter is the way that it begins. And the way that it begins is you can feel the movement. You can feel the kind of scene that the author is trying to create. It feels really tactile. It feels really important, and it gives you a clue about the people and how they live their lives. And the way that the chapter begins is this. The sun rose on the same tidy front gardens and lit up the brass number 4 on the Dursleys' front door. It crept into their living room, which you touching everything,
I was
Marvin.
trying to make the camera go on you.
Wow. Mary is touching my keyboard and it just totally messed up my entire desktop. That's okay, Mary. No problem. Don't worry about it. I'll do the
You're
camera
the one
for
that
me.
showed me how to do that.
I did. Okay. It crept into their living room, which was almost exactly the same as it had been on the night when Mr. Dursley had seen that fateful new report about the owls. And it goes on to talk about the pictures and how it went from this tiny little pink beach ball to a much larger picture of
Dudley.
of Dudley playing computer games with Vernon and the whole thing. You can feel the movement. You can feel how all of these things are staying the same in the Dursley household, but also time is passing. And I felt like that was such a unique and beautiful way to really get into the story of Harry Potter. Not only were we introduced in the first chapter outside of Harry's perspective, and we were starting with the Dursleys, but we're continuing on with the Dursleys again. And it's giving you a history of the Dursleys and not necessarily Harry.
Yeah, this introduction made me think about how when I go to someone's house, the first thing I do when they welcome me is I just peep at all the pictures on the mantle and in the living room hanging, and it gives you a sense of who their family is, what they think of as important, their most momentous moments. And I love to ask people about those pictures. Who's this and when was this taken? And that's what the author was able to do for us. It was able to explain the important people in this family by leaving a certain character out.
Yes. That's the idea, at least. Yeah. I think we're in good hands when it comes to the author and the way that she wants to tell this story. Do you feel like the way that she's introduced the story and the way that she's continuing on with this chapter, that it's really good scene setting and really good storytelling so far?
Yeah, it's funny because of course we're told by Minerva McGonagall that they're the worst sort of muggles. And yet, they do seem kind of ordinary. Yes, Dudley's a dweeb of a baby, but a lot of babies are, okay? Not every baby's a little angel, and a lot of women are a little nosy, and a lot of men are a little nosy and, judgmental. But in this chapter, we do get to see how terrible of muggles they are, that they treat a child in such a disgustingly wrong way.
Do you think it borders on caricature, the way that they treat Harry? It feels almost too much? No? How come?
Because sadly, I know that some children are treated like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish I could easily say, oh yeah, this is just fiction. I mean, a lot of people have different upbringings. And I think that that's one of the things that catches people about Harry Potter, is that a lot of people's home lives are not the traditional ones that you see in television or read about in books that are filled with love and joy, caring environments. And I'm not saying that everybody lives in a cupboard under the stairs, but I do think that there are families where there is a child who is liked and a child who is not liked, and they are treated very differently. And I think that there is a child who often has to do chores more. I mean, still in this generation, but I know in generations past, physically harming children, there was frequently a child who was the one that was picked on physically. So when I read this, I didn't see it too caricatured. I saw it as this family just is wretched. It reminded me a lot of Matilda. We're reading Matilda with the kids.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep.
And yet again, here's a family who treasures one child and they think that Matilda's garbage and they treat her terribly as well.
So do you get a really good sense of what the Dursleys are about in this chapter? And given the first chapter and this chapter, do you get a good sense of who they are and what they're doing to Harry, but not only Harry, but what they're doing to Dudley, right? Like, the way that Dudley acts.
36.
36. I last year I had 37. You know, like, that. I think there's an argument to be made that I like that. That's either nature or nurture. Like, that just depends on the kind of person that you are. But in my estimation, the way that Dudley acts, that seems like a manifestation of how freaking awful the Dursleys are. And then when you contrast that against Harry and how Dudley is just, he is literally the opposite of Harry in every way. Harry is skinny. He is small. He is meek. He lives in a cupboard.
He's also grateful. You know, Dudley is upset that he only has 36 presents. Mm-hmm. Only 36. And he wants this birthday just to himself with his friend Piers. And we see Harry, who gets the cheapest ice cream
he's so happy about it.
He's so happy.
He says it was like the best day of his life or the best morning of his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
To have actually gotten to go to the zoo and get, like a little lemon ice. And for that to be something very special, even though he knew it's because it was the cheapest one. Because, of course, you're reading this, from his perspective, pretty much. Like, he knew it was cheap, but he was still so happy about it.
And, the funny thing is that whenever you have a particular story, whenever you're crafting something, you have a protagonist, who in this case would be Harry, and then you have an antagonist. And generally, every single scene, there's a protagonist and an antagonist. And the way that their author is writing it is that Dudley is the absolute antagonist of this story so far, especially with the way that she ends the
I would say Vernon.
I don't know. The reason why I say that is because, again, Dudley is the opposite of Harry in every way, but yet they both want the same thing. They want attention from their family. Regardless of whatever Harry thinks about the Dursleys, he still considers them family. He even said, the narrator of the chapter even says so. Like, the Dursleys are the only family that he knows. But more on top of that is that Harry wants to belong. Harry wants a family. And Dudley wants the same thing. He even has his own gang that at the end of the chapter, the author says that nobody went across Dudley's gang. They both want to feel a part of something. Because of that, they both want the same thing. They're opposites of each other. It feels like Dudley is the antagonist of this chapter.
See, maybe it's just because I know what happens in latter books, of course, but I feel bad for Dudley. And we talked about how we're often going to be looking at chapters through different viewpoints. And I want to look at this through actually Dudley's perspective. Dudley was raised by his parents, that he was the center of the world. And this is why I put more blame on the parents. Sure. Yes, there are spoiled brat children. Dudley is still a wee child at this point. But his parents have taught him this. His parents have told him, you're the world. You get whatever you want. We didn't get you enough presents. No worries. We'll get you some more on the way to there. Mm-hmm. We'll make it so that they put down Harry in front of him so he thinks it's okay. It's like when you raise your children to be racist, that is what they know because they've heard their parents, react that way.
Sure.
So, when children are this young and their biggest educators and influencers are their parents, that is who I blame. And because of that, I do not feel comfortable saying that in this chapter, Dudley's an antagonist. I feel badly that Dudley has been raised in such a cruel environment where he feels so elite compared to his cousin that I'm not saying he's perfect at all. I think that it's very wrong that he picks on him, but he doesn't know any different. And he's always been praised at school. He's the leader of his gang at school. Mm-hmm. And it makes me so excited for him to be put in his place with a darn pigtail and to hear that Harry is magical and to have the fear of power. You know what I mean? Just for him to have the rug pulled out from under him, for him to realize at some point, like, there's this whole other world out there. And in the last, I think it's the last book, second to last book, I'm trying to rack my memory now, Dudley apologizes. Like, Dudley realizes he's a schmuck when he's older and wiser.
Sure. Actually, Kate Duggan here on Facebook says you could say the same thing about Draco.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, Draco also has this moment at the end of the series where he's like, oh, my God, wow, I was wrong. and that's great. Like that's a character arc, that you start one way, and in Dudley's case, it's the most awful, vile thing. Melissa Carolyn here on Facebook says Dudley is a product of the parents' bad choices. It's not his fault that he is as awful as he is. He's still a child.
Yes.
So he starts this one way as a child, but ends the series or ends his last appearance with growth, saying, "Oh wow, that was kind of dumb."
Yeah.
I did that.
I mean, I would have liked even more massive growth, but seeing as how where we are, our entire journey with Harry up until that point, it's still big growth. And that's it. You need to remember that these books are, yes, teenage years or preteen years, but they're still children and they're still learning. And then we have Harry, that whole last bit talking about these dreams that he has and how he yearns. It's the quote that I read in the beginning, how he dreams of some unknown relation taking him away. And it just makes me so sad because Sirius Black is currently alive, living in Azkaban prison. His godfather. His godfather is far away. And his godfather is going to try in 2 books to come and get him.
Right. It makes you wonder how much the author really had this all planned out. I know we talked about that a little bit in the last chapter, but there just seems to be, like, when you're reading these little nuggets, I mean, the fact that Harry is talking to a snake in this chapter.
Talking and winking.
Right, and winking. Snakes don't have eyelids, bro. What the hell are you talking about?
They don't?
No!
How do they cover their eyes from sand?
I have no idea. They're
Come on.
snakes. They're crazy. They don't have legs and they move.
Snakes don't have eyelids?
No, I don't think they have eyelids.
Hold on. Because seriously, what if dust gets in it? Snakes don't have what we think of as eyelids.
Told
Instead,
you.
they have something called a brille attachment to each eye.
Bam! Just like that. A winner!
It is known as an eye cap or a spectacle. So they protect the eyes from dust and dirt and gives them a glassy-eyed appearance. So it's pretty much like saran wrap. or is what's
Cling wrap.
Oh, press and seal.
They got press and seal.
You-
Snakes don't go. They don't do saran wrap.
Once you do press and seal,
You don't go back.
You do not go back.
You don't. Press and seal is the only way to go going forward.
That's it.
Like saran wrap should be out of business.
Yes.
The whole saran.
Why are you here?
They just go away. Go away. There's no need for saran wrap anymore. Press and seal's where it's at.
So here we go, and Harry's, dreaming about this family that lives far away. The snake winked at him, obviously. And people are recognizing him. A tiny man with a violet hat, a top hat, bowed to him once while he was out shopping with his aunt and Dudley. And Aunt Petunia, bugged out because Harry didn't know him. And then a woman dressed all in green waved merrily at him on a bus. A bald man in a very long purple coat had shaken his hand across the street. Shaken his hand the other day when they walked. And these people would vanish right away.
Right.
So, it makes me kind of think, Obama has that house on Martha's Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've gone to Martha's Vineyard, we've been like, is he going to be at one of these restaurants? Because there's only so many restaurants.
You can only go to so many places on the vineyard.
And there's a lot of famous people that chill on the vineyard. A lot of actors, a lot of people just go and relax there. And they're just like us. They need to go eat.
Yep.
And then what do? So here's Harry Potter. He looks just like James Potter. He's got a big scar.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if you saw Harry Potter and you thought that he was the greatest gift to the world because he got rid of Lord Voldemort? Would you ignore him? Would you kind of make eye contact? What would you do?
Oh, me as a person?
You, Blake Larson. This is my fun question of the day. I've mentioned it earlier.
Good one. I like this
write
question.
To mariandblakemedia@gmail.com with trivia questions, kind of the ones that your annoying orientation leader would give you as an icebreaker, a.k.a. me. That's what I would do, and I'm doing it right now.
All right, so here it is. I tend to think of it of something like someone who I met that I just I fawn over, and that first person I think of is Damon Lindelof. If I saw Damon Lindelof in a restaurant, I think I would internally freak the frack out. And my blood pressure would be raising. I would get hot. I'd probably pass out a little bit.
You probably would.
But I wouldn't say a damn word.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't say a damn word. I'd just be like, oh my God, that's Damon Lindelof. Holy crap. And then I would freak out. I would talk to you about it. and then I would just continue eating my meal. What would you do?
You know what I'd do because you saw me do it. I don't get like
yeah, that's
stage
true.
fright in front of actually famous people. I've had the wonderful fortune of in either the music field or the television field to be able to interview a lot of people and meet a lot of people that I think very highly of and I look up to. But I had a complete like nerdgasm over a podcaster. And I just went up to him and I said, I really like what you do. Like, I didn't even say I love your podcasting. I was just so shocked to see him in real life that that's what I said. And yeah, so that's what I would probably do to Harry Potter. I would probably awkwardly go up and be like, thank you. Thank you.
So awesome.
And then just disappear.
You'd be like Chris Farley. Remember the old SNL skit when Chris Farley interviews Paul McCartney?
No.
And he's like, hey, you don't remember that?
Blake, I wasn't allowed to watch SNL. When
Oh my God.
I couldn't watch The Simpsons. I couldn't watch SNL.
There's
I couldn't watch 90210.
There's the incredible skit of Chris Farley interviewing on the Chris Farley show within SNL, him interviewing Paul McCartney.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, Paul McCartney, remember that time? Remember that time you were on the Beatles? And Paul McCartney was like, yeah. And he says, yeah, that was awesome. And, like, I feel like that would be you with Harry Potter. Remember that time you lived?
Yeah.
Remember that time you stopped Voldemort? That was awesome.
That would be.
Actually, Kate Duggan here says on Facebook, the journey of the hero is always the same. The author knew that, which is why she feels like this was all planned out. And Kate, I would probably agree with you. The hero's journey is generally the same as created by Joseph Campbell. You see that in Star Wars. Like Luke Skywalker is the perfect example of the Joseph Campbell hero story. You know, but the problem with the hero story is the way that Campbell created it was that they have to deny.
Who's Campbell? What are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. They have to deny.
Well, you're like talking about it like I'm supposed to know.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The hero story, part of it, Campbell writes, is that the hero has to not accept his challenge. He has to say, no, I'm not going. In Luke's case, in Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, his thing was, no, I can't leave. I can't go. I have my aunt and uncle. I have to stay here. I got things. Harry does not deny his journey. He doesn't say. He says, "I'm not anything. I'm just I'm Harry." But he doesn't deny it. He accepts it. He wants it. He goes with it. So I'm not saying he doesn't have a hero's journey, but the Campbellian hero's journey requires that protagonist to say, "No, I'm not doing that," in the beginning.
I'm glad Harry didn't say no.
Me too.
It'd be very ungrateful.
You know, we talked a little bit about.
Are you ready for a journey? Heck, yes, I am.
In this vein, we talked about how much the author planned out, and I want to get to my favorite part of this chapter. And I know we're coming on 28 minutes, so we're gonna close up here in a little bit.
Okay.
But I want to come at my favorite part of this entire chapter, and that is this. Harry had always been skinny for his age. He looked even smaller and skinnier than he really was because all he had to wear were old clothes of Dudley's, and Dudley was about 4 times bigger than he was. Harry had a thin face, knobbly knees, black hair, and bright green eyes. He wore round glasses held together with a lot of sellotape because of all the times Dudley punched him on the nose. The only thing Harry liked about his own appearance was a very thin scar on his forehead, which was shaped like a bolt of lightning. He had it as long as he could remember. The first question he could ever remember asking his Aunt Petunia was how he got it. Now, first, this is a great descriptor of Harry. You get an immediate sense of his build, of his look, of how tactile he can be. Green eyes, nose, glasses, height, skinny, broken glasses, weight, hair, all of it. It all comes boom, 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 boom. But the thing that he likes about himself is uniquely his. Everything else kind of is. But the thing that he likes, the one thing that the author calls out that Harry likes about himself, is the only thing that is uniquely his. He has his dad's hair, which you don't know yet.
No.
But he has his dad's hair. He has his mother's eyes, which again, You don't know yet, but he has his mother's eyes. He's wearing Dudley's clothes. He even has a nose that's kind of messed up like Dumbledore's, who was called out last chapter when we said it looked like it had been broken at least a couple of times. Note that connection. But the only thing that is inherently his is, in fact,
His scar.
his scar, which comes from Voldemort.
Yes.
And now it's not Voldemort's, it's inherently Harry's. It's the only thing that's inherently his, but it comes from Voldemort. It echoes that connection. It echoes that magic, and it also brings to light the fact, without you even noticing it, without even knowing it, that big bad, that connection, the big bad for the whole series is right there in front of your face, right in the beginning of the book.
Which has also been referenced in chapter 1 when Dumbledore said scars, sometimes come in handy.
Right,
So
exactly.
we've now heard the importance of this scar twice in the first 2 chapters.
Yep.
And I'd also like to thank this chapter. Oh no, it's the next book, but our son likes to try to speak in Parseltongue. And we're like, we don't speak Parseltongue. We are not descendants of Salazar, Slytherin, honey.
Can we just talk about? We're going to close up here in 1 minute, but can we just talk about the fact that Parseltongue is already happening in chapter 2, and where it's connected to later on. You don't even know anything about Parseltongue at all, and the funny thing is that there was zero context. All of a sudden, Harry is just talking to a snake, but he's just talking.
Yeah. And he doesn't think it's that big of a deal. He's like, oh, it winked. Where are you from? Cool. I'm not, just chilling. Just
Right.
straight chilling with the
Just
snake.
chilling, having fun, talking about Brazil,
Love it.
growing up in captivity. Thanks, amigo. Like,
Oh, my goodness gracious.
the author just expects you to just go along. Like in the first chapter, you saw a cat turn into a human, and now all of a sudden, Harry Potter, who is 10 years old, is talking to a snake with no context, no like, oh my God, you can understand me? Like in the movie, like in the film, he says, wow, you can understand me, and the snake nods its head. No, there's none of that. It's just, hey, what's up? Hey, you're a snake. I'm a human. We're talking.
Just straight chilling.
Just straight chilling.
Winking eyes.
I think that was, it's a lot to accept.
And yet you do.
Yeah, when you were reading it, were you like, wait, hold on.
No, I just kept turning the page. I was like, all right, talks to snakes. All right, cat turns into woman. Cool. Sign me up.
That's funny. Because it's odd because when I read it, I'm like, wait, whoa.
I've read other weirder things.
But the funny thing is that like I had the perspective of
like
the
a vampire
film.
baby that falls in love with a werewolf. But it's a baby. But it kind of like acts like an adult.
So
I've read weirder things.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Good point. Valid point.
You're not adding my sound effect.
You're right. Oh my God. Hold on.
I
Sorry.
need to take over sound effects pretty soon.
No, don't you? You will. You will not.
Say it out loud.
There you go. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you got about this chapter, my darling?
No, that's about it.
All right. Let's close it out.
We'd like to thank you so much for joining us on the Potterverse. And if you could take a moment to share this with your friends, whether it's hitting that share button on Facebook or Twitter, retweeting, or sharing a YouTube link here or there, or even taking a screenshot of either the live video or the podcast that you're listening to and sharing that in your Instagram or Facebook stories. Help other Potterheads find the Potterverse.
And remember, go to the jointhenerdclan.com to get all of the great benefits that Mary and I offer to you as members of the Nerd Clan. You can get all the great podcasts that we offer. You get access to the community, free swag. There's a whole bunch of stuff. JoinTheNerdClan.com. Check us out, too, on all the social media, Mary and Blake. Just Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of it, Mary and Blake. We're here for you. We're having fun. We're talking about Harry Potter. What do you say?
Stay tuned for the next episode in which we'll take care of Chapter 3, The Letters from No One. We are planning on going live on Facebook Mondays, definitely. Hopefully Wednesdays on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. So we'll see you there. For now, my name is Mary.
My name is Blake.
Mischief managed. Blake, I need this microphone fixed.
We're
It's
gonna
like,
fix it. We're gonna fix it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Eventually.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And as I said, we would love it if you sent an email to maryandblakemedia@gmail.com and sent us a question, as I said, kind of in the vein of Harry Potter, particularly if it could even be something somewhat related to the upcoming chapters. You know, if you were to say like, okay, chapter 3, this is what's happening, and the letters from no one, you know, whatever kind of question you'd like it to be, but just like how I did now, how would you react
Sure.
to bumping into Harry Potter? Just think of it as an orientation icebreaker kind of thing, and Blake and I can both answer it. And I just think it'll be a nice, fun way. We can give you a shout out, include in the email your name, where you're from, and then the question. And ideally, if it does pertain to a certain chapter, it doesn't have to be just chapter 3, but if it does pertain to a chapter, great. If it doesn't, don't worry, we will still check them out. And as Blake said, we're in different podcast apps right now. So if you've enjoyed the Potterverse so far, head on over to your podcast app and give us some 5 stars and leave us a written review. We read them in bed, and it gives us like the biggest little smile.
Yeah, that's right.
Like someone listened.
It makes our day. As a matter of fact, I was in the bathroom and I called out. I was like, Mary, we got 12 reviews.
You did.
I wasn't going to the bath. I was about to brush my teeth. So just consider that.
I'm not considering anything in the bathroom.
Valid point. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us live and being here on YouTube Live, Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram. Thank you just so much for just being a part of our community and enjoying it. Please do go give us the reviews. It does help expose the new podcast to new people, and it gives people a reason to listen to us.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, if you look at a podcast and there were no reviews on it, you're like, dude, I'm not listening to that. Like nobody's listening. What the hell's the point? So So thank you very much, and just enjoy. I hope you continue to enjoy.
And don't forget,
the Potterverse.
We have a complimentary texting service that I'm just setting up. So if you were on our Outlander Cast live texting service and I asked you if you wanted to be also shared into the Potterverse one, I haven't added you over yet. But as of the next time that we do go live, I will be sending you just a little text saying like, hey, today we're going live at this time. And then I give a follow-up text like 5-10 minutes before we do go live so that you can join us. So if you want to sign up for that, I just included it in the Facebook comments, or you can text the number 81010 and in the message at Elderwand, ELDERWAND.
Rebecca's calling you out, Mary. It was imprinting, not love. Not yet, Mary.
True.
Jacob is whatever she needed him to be for her, even it never became romantic.
True.
He had to.
True.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Edward was so conflicted.
Screw Jacob.
And I'm loving the conversations too about like, why did Lily pick James when James is also a jerk? James Potter. We will get into that as we get into the flashbacks of Snape's memories.
Yes.
Which is in a while.
That's a good point. I do wonder why she chose Snape. I do wonder.
She didn't choose Snape.
What do you mean she didn't choose him?
She chose James. She didn't choose Snape.
I'm saying why she didn't choose Snape.
Oh, why she didn't choose Snape.
Yeah.
How to tell when the hosts aren't listening.
It sounded like did choose.
Okay, fair enough.
I was listening. On that note.
Yeah, no, Rebecca, yes, absolutely. Screw Jacob. I'm all
team
Edward.
Jacob.
I'm Team Edward.
I'm Team Jacob.
Hey, what a surprise. Just consistently different, constantly.
How did we end up together?
Mary will never forgive Edward for just abandoning Bella in the woods.
There's a possibility. Oh my God. When I read that part of the book, I put it down and I cried and I didn't pick it up for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mary was like, are you going to leave me?
I was mourning for Bella.
Oh,
Screw
freaking
Edward.
Jacob. Jacob sucks. He's such a whiny little dink.
Veronica says we're together because chemistry and cuteness. Plus, we like to match.
All right.
You didn't change into your Potter shirt.
No, I didn't. I'm wearing my House Lannister shirt. I was playing Game of Thrones Risk earlier today with the family, and I wore it.
We found a really good way to play Risk with a 5- and 7-year-old. So if you do have young ones in your life, the way that we played it is forgetting all of the armies and soldiers and rolling multiple dice. We just let everybody like take a countries. We passed out the cards, and then everybody put a soldier on that country.
And you just roll
and
the
just
dice.
roll one dice.
That's it. That's how it
Who
works.
do you want to invade? That one, great. Roll a dice. You got the high one. You won. Like it
Tracy
was
says,
awesome.
I always thought that Bella should have stuck it to both Edward and Jacob and went with a human.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like it. I kind of
You
like
know, but
it.
Bella wanted to be different. Like she did.
She was like a hipster before hipsters were hipsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I lived in Arizona, but I didn't like to tan. Yeah.
I don't like the sun.
Is there a child down here?
I have no idea.
Are you here? Say hello. It's okay if you are. 'Cause
Nope.
last time I thought you were a ghost.
I think we're good.
I think we're good too. I think we need to get offline though.
Yes, let's do it. All right.
Guys, thank you so much. We may be doing chapter 3 a little early, like maybe this weekend. So do get on that texting thing. And if so, then we'll do chapter 4 on Monday. But no matter what, take a gander and, read chapters 3 and 4 just to be
Sure.
prepared. And we'll talk with you later.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.